The answer to the question is like a lot of self-awareness work came into it of me analyzing like, why am I not happy? Something's got to change, y'all. And so this was the precursor to Jo Club developing.
Thank you, everyone, so much for watching today. We're so excited to be talking with Jo Franco of Jo Club, the founder of Jo Club. And we're going to be diving into all things community and engaging your students, whether it's courses or community products. Jo, thank you so much for being here. Welcome. We're always excited to talk to you. And before we can dive into anything, just for anyone who doesn't know you or know about you and what you do, can you give a brief explanation of who you are, what you do, and the transformation that you're trying to offer your audience?
Yes, I'm honored to be here. Super stoked. Teachable has been a huge piece of my business. So I'm Jo Franco, and I've been making content on the internet for 10 years, and I've had a little bit of a major pivot in my content. So when I first started out in 2012, I was making travel videos on YouTube all about cheap travel, and then it morphed into language learning. I love learning languages. I'm a polyglot, so I speak like 7 languages, 9 if I'm really trying, y'all, 9 if I'm trying. And what was really fun was using content as a way to document the things that I wanted to advance. And of course, that was an evolution, right? Like at first I was making content for reach, which is how most people start. They're like, oh, I want to be a content creator. I'm going to make content that has higher click rates and, you know, that people are searching for. Then I'm like, you know what? I don't want to make content for the internet. I want to make content for me. And if people on the internet like it, even better. So then it became a way for me to capture my travels, capture my language learning, and in turn, actually learn more. Then I got off the internet for basically 2 years. I was hosting a Netflix show called The World's Most Amazing Vacation Rentals. So I was one of the fortunate people to make the jump from full-time content creator to full-time TV presenter. You know, all my effort was for this TV show. And then the pandemic hit. And then I'm like, record scratch, like, what am I going to do now? I get plopped back into reality, which was the warped reality we were all living in during COVID. And I couldn't travel. So I couldn't do the thing that I knew how to make content out of. All the while, though, I had kept a journal from middle school throughout my travels. I had been journaling in secrecy. And journaling was such a big piece of my life that I had never shared that during the pandemic, out of sheer just desperation and anxiety. I didn't even post it thinking it would become something big. I posted it because I was like, y'all, the world's ending. Here's how I really feel. And when I shared my private journal entries on my Instagram, a follower was like, hey, Jo, start a 30-day journaling challenge with us because we're all bored. We have nothing to do. And I'm like, you know what? I'm the queen of asking some deep questions. So tune in every day. I'll ask you a journal prompt. You tag me in your entries. I will repost your entries, and the next day I'll share my response and the second prompt. This lasted for 90 days, like 90 days of free journal prompts. And I was able to put these people together, even in this distant way on Instagram through our stories. And then I asked myself, I'm like, what would happen if I put everybody in a Zoom room and just had a dope global conversation? Because at the time also, people were journaling in different languages. And this is when Jo Club was born, where you could sign up for the membership and you would get access to a live journaling call. And I basically had these people, I think 12 people signed up. So it's been 3 years and I've mastered it and improved it. And the community is massive. And we have corporate clients and school, like university partners. And it's been all from this passion of mine that I had been doing in secrecy all the while. And that's basically the story.
Oh, I love your story so much for a few reasons. I'm fascinated with your ability to give yourself permission to do something different than what you would expect. So was it the audience calling out that? And was that what really triggered that? Or were you wrestling with that at all? Because it would make sense for you to do language classes or stuff like that.
You're hitting the nail on the head. I think so many creators struggle with this. It is not easy to make a pivot. But I feel like journaling is actually ironically connected to how I discovered that I didn't want to keep doing just travel content. So when I was doing travel content, It was beautiful. It was an abundant life. I was getting paid to travel. I was flying first class, sipping champagne, y'all. And this is from sleeping on benches. So I literally had the whole life cycle of like sleeping on benches because I couldn't even afford a hostel, to then sleeping in 20 bed dorms with men who are wearing stained whitey tighties and snoring, to flying first class in the world's nicest hotels. And yet I had journaled this entire time. And what I was realizing was like, damn, I'm very grateful, but there has to be a better way to make my living, because I'm missing my nephew's birthdays. I'm missing my family's big events. I just was like wrestling with the concept, and it gives me chills now because I had been creating golden handcuffs for myself. In order to make a living, I had to travel, and I knew I wanted to pivot it. So I kept journaling about it. I'm like, what can I do? How can I step outside of this? The answer to the question is like a lot of self-awareness work came into it, of me analyzing, like, why am I not happy? Something's got to change, y'all. And so this was the precursor to Jo Club developing. What has been the one consistent thing in my life? What have I always done, no matter what it was? And it was writing. So I had to identify that, which ironically and also coincidentally, I figured out through journaling. We all have these things that we've done since we were born. The thing is, we don't realize they're anything special because we've been doing them since we were born. So it was a bit of a mixing and matching of what is important to me, how can I make money, and how can I make the world a better place? Because let's be real, there's enough of everything. So it's like, what can you do to actually improve people's lives in a genuine way?
I love that. Want to get a little more technical for the creative entrepreneur, the creators out there, of like how you're building your business and what you've constructed. So in your words, can you briefly explain what your products are on Teachable, how that fits into the ecosystem you've built?
Yes. So I mentioned right before we started recording, I think I started in an inverted way. Most creators will have an audience of organic content, and then they go right into making courses on Teachable or challenges on Teachable. For the first 2 years of Jo Club, I was just mastering the format of what it is to run a live journaling call, what it is to actually host a session. How do you continue to develop your product, your service? And then I used Teachable to create 21-day journaling challenges. I recorded 21 videos plus, 5 onboarding videos. And then every week we had live journaling calls. So you would have the challenge experience, which was released in the drip, where you would get the drip not only in Teachable, but then it's linked to get your, daily email to remind you to log in. We did all that tech. And then every week, at the end of the week, we'd have a journaling party. It took a lot longer for me. And I'm like the queen of the marathon, not the sprint. So it's frustrating because I think a lot of creators, we have this desire to like make an impact, right? Like quickly. We want to post the thing and we want it to get a crap ton of views, and we want to sell the thing and we want it to sell out to 5 million people. I don't know if that's the right way to do things for me anymore, because those are like quick hits of dopamine. What I'm building now is a legacy business. This is a business that will last for as long as I feel like it should live, which I think should be forever, even if it's not me doing it. So now when I think about Teachable and how it connects to the full business model, I'm like, okay, what are the products, challenges, services, and my membership now lives on Teachable as well, right? So like the onboarding for the membership lives through Teachable. How can I start just building the world and having products that are evergreen? Now we already did 3 challenges. We have self-awareness challenge, the career and calling challenge, the money mindset challenge, right? And then by the end of the year, we'll have 6 challenges that speak to different problems that you might be facing that the tool of journaling can help you with.
Beyond the tech or showing up or that, do you have some more insight or philosophical insight even into how you keep an engaged community? I heard right here, listening is a big one. So listening to what people want. But beyond that, how do you show up and nurture that community?
So we do so many things, always asking questions. So it's listening to what's organically happening, but then asking questions to understand who is in your community. So we've identified 4 unique archetypes. We have the explorers, right? The people who want to travel, language learn, and they're documenting their crazy adventures. We have the people who need healing. We have the entrepreneurs who want to capture their big business wins, the creative visionaries. And then we have the actual artists, right? The creatives, the writers, the poets. So we've listened and we've identified like any one of our members fits in one of these 4 categories. And then that means that we could service them in a more targeted way. It's categorizing and understanding who's your target consumer and understanding that you might not be your target consumer because you might be developing things for people that may not be exactly like you. And that's a beautiful thing, but that means you're going to need to ask them to help you build it. So from the very inception of Jo Club, my motto was always, you are building this with me. I build things for you. It's how can I give you hard skills? Like, what do you need, right? Like, how can I make this an invaluable piece of your life? So this is Jo Club 2.0.
And everyone in this community came in through journaling, right? That's kind of the unifying element.
No, that's the other thing that I suggest to people. What I've learned is that I'm not actually in the business of selling journaling. That's my tool. I'm selling transformation. You come into Jo Club because you want to evolve. It's almost like what we do at Jo Club, we ask questions, deep questions, and we show you how to learn yourself. So some people can come in and they've never journaled in their life, but they can come in because they're there to understand, to like answer questions that we ask them. And they use the tool of journaling that they might be learning. We have a lot of first-time journalers.
This model is on some level on paper like the anti-business plan. You're not that niched down. One of the most common things I've heard from successful community builders is to have a very specific niche. So you've kind of flipped that on its head too. And I'm curious, like, what you think of your own niche as a business owner. How do you think of the people that come in here? I know you said transformation, but how do you construct that in your head as the entrepreneur?
So journaling is our anchor, right? Journaling is our differentiator, but it's not just journaling to be like, dear diary, today I ate asparagus. Right. Like it's development and documentation and growth. So that's the niche. It's the non-niche niche.
But it's a whole person niche. We're not just one. I love it. You've talked about this, how this is the right path for you and how it is a business you could live and grow your whole life. Curious what like your 1 or 2 favorite parts are about having such a sense of community with your students, what that means and how that affects your life.
Listen, so it's crazy because the first version of Jo Club, it was just me facilitating. I was hosting all the sessions. And we were only doing 2 sessions a month. And I loved them. And I'm hosting them when I only had 1 day off because I was shooting a Netflix show for 6 days a week. I'm working 15 hours a day and I'm still on my 1 day off. I'm looking forward to hosting these Jo Club calls because they energize me. And so from the very beginning, they were something that I found so much joy in because I was actually journaling with people, speaking to people, listening to perspectives. The second version of Jo Club was a scarier one. It was in the fall. I was wondering, could I scale this? Is this business scalable? Can I multiply my facilitation and have other people facilitate? Will the audience and will the members still show up if it's not me hosting? And then I had to embark on a scary mission to handpick facilitators from the community, create a whole training program, train them on the tech, train them on how to ideate a session, train them on like dope playlists to play and create this whole system. And I did that, right? So we grew from 2 sessions to 4 to 6 to 8 sessions a month. And I don't host any sessions anymore unless I want to, which is madness. So I was able to create a model that is scalable. So now our facilitators who are global, they're just incredible. They use their passions. So we have art journaling because one of our facilitators is an art teacher. So you come in and it's all about drawing in your journals. We have music journaling because one of our facilitators is a music junkie. So we're using playlists, like you'll submit your song and we use lyrics as a catalyst to the journal prompt. And then you get a playlist at the end of the session. Like the list goes on, right? That was the big scary moment. And I now can attend as an attendee. So I do. Yesterday,
that's so awesome.
Yeah, you know, I need a little bit of a Jo Club session. And I went and like, I'm there straight up participating, raising my hand to submit feedback and be like, you know, guys, this prompt definitely made me realize that XYZ. So yes, every time I go to a Jo Club session, I'm like, what a dope company.
Well, that's so cool for you to be building that. And then also, I'm sure it's amazing for the community to be side by side with you, learning from someone else and know that you're you're still there. Because yes, you're scaling it, but you're not just doing so to go chilling in the Bahamas or something. You're like, or you're tuning in from the Bahamas. Either way, it sounds great.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything else you wanted to say or share with our audience, or any wisdom you have?
I just think it's a beautiful time to be alive for any creative entrepreneur out there. I think take a good look inside of yourself before you build anything. Of course, we don't have all the answers, but having a relationship with yourself is key because you're the CEO of your life. Just because something succeeds and makes you a ton of money does not mean that you need to keep doing it if it makes you unhappy. There is a way to pivot. It's not going to be easy, but it is possible and you will be happier in the long run. And I think of all the things I've learned is just patience, y'all. Like we think things are going to be fast, and they are not. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But I think putting that pressure on ourselves, so what I got from yesterday's Joe Club session, is not good. Like pressurizing ourselves is just not good, which is why you should align your business with something that's innately you that you love, because it's going to take a lot longer than you think. And you're going to need to like live and breathe this stuff. So it would be a shame to live and breathe something you don't actually like for the sake of making money, just because you want to be an entrepreneur.
I can't think of better words to wrap up on. Thank you so much, Jo, for taking the time to talk to us and share with us. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. See you on Teachable.